Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where I'll be talking and reviewing action figures from different manufacturers. Today we're going to be having a look at another G.I. Joe classified series. Now, of course, this is the winter period and Christmas thing, and I said that there was only 3 G.I. Joe figures right to now who were put as Arctic figures. Now, this one is the 4th one. Well, I know he's not really dressed up as the Arctic, but as you can see on the back of the box, this is reminiscent of a G.I. Joe episode where he was introduced to the G.I. Joe team. And yes, he was walking barefoot and without any vest. Now, this is supposed to be in the North Pole. Now, this guy would be dead in 30 seconds. Or even a little bit longer, but this guy would be dead. There's no way that you could be walking like this. I know it's totally unrealistic, but this is what they did at the time. I mean, even Bazooka in this episode did have a jacket on to cover him and protect him from his cold, but looks like you only need just some muscles and some fudge bar to hold out in cold temperatures to walking like that. Anyway, let's finish this joke about it. I mean, of course, G.I. Joe is not realistically any kind of military thing. It is inspired, but does not have much of a real military background behind. Now, of course, we're going to be talking about this figure. This is number 116 in the G.I. Joe series. This figure came out in 2024 and it was going up for a suggested retail price of €24.99 or €29.99. Now, of course, we're going to be jumping into the history of this figure. We're going to be talking about what we get in the box, what are my thoughts about it, and do I think this figure is a collectible item. So now, like we got out of the talking about the figure itself, let's talk about history about this figure. Now, on your right hand side corner, you're going to see a picture that I borrowed from 3D G.I. Joe. Go and check them out. They have some really cool things. I haven't found my original figure from 1985. So that's when this original figure came out. As you can see, he comes with a sword, backpack, a nunchuck, and he was pretty barely equipped. Now, of course, when you are looking at this figure, we're also going to be talking about the 25th anniversary figure. Now, this one I did found. This one did come out in 2008, and he was included in a box set with a DVD for the Pyramid of Darkness. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time he does appear. I am not a huge fan of the cartoon, so there's a few episodes that I like, but this box is pretty interesting, and also going to be talking about some of the accessories who are put in the back of this box, because we know Hasbro is doing this mass device and the line of the G.I. Joe Classified. We'll be getting some figures, but I will be talking about that more when we get more information regarding this figure. So, as I said, his first appearance in the cartoon, when he comes out, he goes around kicking the butt of Storm Shadow. I mean, the figure was put in there for publicity material, because let's be honest, if you read the comics, of course, Storm Shadow does kick the ass of Quick Kick pretty easily, due to the fact that he is a highly skilled and to the equivalent of Snake Eyes, or some may call him better. That would be depends, but in the comic books, let's say Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are the two best karate fighting figures. Now, of course, when we're talking about these figures, we can see that in 1985, this figure is highly inspired by Bruce Lee. Now, Bruce Lee was also the inspiration behind certain characters in the Marvel Universe, like Shang-Chi. There is some references in the cartoon, the comic book, saying that one of his masters was a student or part of the Shang-Chi universe. But personally, I do not like these crossovers. I don't think they're logic. Same thing with Transformers crossing over with G.I. Joe. Makes no sense, due to the fact that those robos, all those Transformers are OP considered to the G.I. Joe, so they were should wiping out. Now, just to finish about with the history of this guy. Now, he is part of the 15 G.I. Joe figures that died in the comic books. So it was in G.I. Joe 109 in the comic books from Marvel that this guy dies after managing to be saved by Doc, who jumps over him and protects him, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time since I read it. But he does die in an explosion when the battle bunker gets hit. And he dies with Breaker. So there's a list of 15 figures that died, were killed off in the G.I. Joe comic book. So that's going to be it for the history of this guy. Let's jump into the figure and what do we get in this box. So what is my thoughts on this figure? Do I think this figure is going to be a collectible figure? Yes or no? So the answer to that is kind of not maybe really, because I guess a lot of people are waiting for this figure to come out in the retro line, and I guess due to the fact that he does not have too much equipment, I guess most of what you have over here is going to be also shown on the retro line figure. Maybe not all the extra hands or some of the stuff, but as you can see, this is something that needs to remain to be seen if this is what's going to be happening. Now, this is why I think this figure does have a certain value. I do not remember seeing this figure going in any kind of much discounts on the different websites. He's still available in most of the shops, so you can still get him. I don't think he's available on Hasbro Pulse Europe anymore, but I mean, this is a small detail on this, but you can still get this figure, so he's not going for very expensive. But I do think that he is a nice homage to the figure that came out in 1985, and for that reason I believe that he may have a certain value and a certain abstain for people who want him in the collectible line. So now let's jump into the notes. And what do I think about this figure? And what is my note out of 10? So of course, put him up and geared him up with his chocolate fudge, as you can see. So it does look pretty interesting. Also going to put this so you can see. So my final thoughts regarding this figure. I do think that Hasbro did a fine job in doing something with this figure and bringing him up, kind of up to date in a modern way. Now, I really like what they did, so I think that this figure comes with some really cool accessories. Also, the fact of having two nunchucks. Now, this position of these nunchucks is kind of worrying because I don't know if leaving them in this position is something that I would recommend, due to the fact that they could break over the time, a bit the same principle as the O-rings. But I mean, for me, this figure is close to perfection, and that's the reason why I'm going to give this figure a 9.5 out of 10. There's not much more that they could have done. The only nitpicky part that I would have said about it is regarding the gun hands, because he doesn't operate any guns, but that's really nitpicking. So that's why for this figure is getting a 9.5 out of 10. So that's going to be it for my final review of the Winter Edition G.I. Joe Classified series. If you like this video, please leave a like, share, comment in the section, subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. If you want to go and see some pictures that I did with this guy, you can go and check them out on my Facebook page or Instagram page. The links are in the description. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!